In my opinion, WWE did not do their best to deliver a big Hulk Hogan tribute show. Um, Hulk Hogan, in my honest opinion, deserved, even though he was retired, and I know like there's been wrestlers that were retired that had didn't really have a big tribute show. Like the difference between Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, um, well, even at the time with Chris Benoit and even Owen Hart, they had wrestlers who could be interviewed, and they actually gave people the time to actually discuss their thoughts about the death. I think to an extent, yes, it's going to be very different because when a wrestler is retired, it's going to be different than like an active wrestler. So I kind of understand why they would not really do a similar style to like a Eddie Guerrero or even like an Owen Hart style type of of a sadly passing type of tribute show. But if you're gonna do a somewhat like a tribute show, it should have been similar to like what happened when the Ultimate Warrior passed away. Because I felt like when WWE did a tribute show to a wrestler who was a big star like Ultimate Warrior, they did more so a big tribute show to him. When on the Raw after his passing, they literally did a big tribute show. And they had the wrestlers dress up like, they had wrestlers honor Ultimate Warrior with his t-shirts and whatever. And it honestly made it also a good show. My honest opinion, WWE did not try enough to do a big tribute show to Hulk Hogan. They just I will give credit though. I like that they opened the show with the first 10 minutes, and I think it was a great tribute based on that. My only problem is they didn't capitalize on making this a big tribute show that it should be. Especially, I do think with Hulk Hogan, he honestly deserves it since he was the man that honestly, without Hulk Hogan, without his contribution to professional wrestling and WWE, WWE would not be where it is today. So he honestly kind of deserved a little bit more. In my honest opinion, he played a major part in professional wrestling, especially with the WWE. They should have went all out to try to make the show much more than it was. Again, there's still time. Like, I mean, with SmackDown, they only sadly had like probably a day. They only literally had like a day to plan SmackDown, especially after what happened. So I completely understand, but in my opinion, there's still more they could have done. There was still more they could honestly have done to try to make this show much more better. For example, the things that they propose on the show and the people who they have in the active roster, they could have honestly made the show much more. So here's my little how I would book WWE's Hulk Hogan tribute show. With some of the things on SmackDown, I did not hate. First of all, we're keeping the 10-minute intro. I do think the intro and also honoring Hulk Hogan in the first 10 minutes was amazing. It was a perfect way to honor Hulk Hogan. What I would have done is on this show, we should have had a bigger and better main event to end the show, especially in honor of Hulk Hogan. I would have essentially have done and this was where like my creative juice was flowing, and where I would have done if I was part of creative. What they should have done is perhaps like a mega style. Heck, like I even like think like what would have been a perfect name for the SmackDown, a perfect obviously the Hulk Hogan tribute show, but you could have easily have done maybe like a mega power tag team match somewhat. What they should have done is they should have done perhaps like a mega, probably the best tag match they could have ever put on, perhaps like a 5-on-5, and it would be based on the current main feuds. For example, I know John Cena was not booked for the show. Well, what they should have done exactly is that they should have had John Cena flown out just especially for this show. Add part of his schedule, because honestly, he kind of needed to be on this show. Since after all, John Cena is basically the modern day Hulk Hogan. He should have been on this show. They should have done basically what they could have done. They could have like a 5-on-5 tag match where it'll be like maybe Team Cena versus Team Cody, even kind of something like that. And I would have done basically it would be the team of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. Yes, we would try to make this show must see, where all the best stars on this show: Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Randy Orton. Especially why Randy Orton? Because he was again Hulk Hogan's last WWE opponent. They would have gone on to face John Cena, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, and I would have even had Gunter take the place too. I would have basically had made that match would have been the big. It would have been the big main event on this show. Given that, again, maybe timing would have been a little different, but again, you have these guys on their main roster. It's not like you can't really like fly them out to why not actually have them on the show, you know? So I don't know why is it a big deal, like they can't really like, hey, give them a call, like, you know, hey, have them try to show up and do actually something big. Especially as WWE, like actually put some effort on the show, do the best show in can, especially in honor of Hulk Hogan. This should have been a bigger deal than usual. This should have been, and this would have made a bigger SmackDown. So what I would have done, that would have been the main event. In terms of the Cody Rhodes promo, I think the Cody Rhodes promo, what he said in his promo, like he wants the old John Cena back. You should have had essentially John Cena on that segment as well. John Cena showing up, and then while Cody Rhodes was saying he wants the old John Cena, he should have pulled out a Hulkamania shirt. And obviously, I do think this was a perfect opportunity as well, like to help transform John Cena slowly going back to a babyface. And again, even though it's very sad in real life Hulk Hogan passing away, this would have been a perfect opportunity to help advance some stories as well. You know, make it part of the show where Hulk Hogan, you know, how Cena was a Hulkamaniac as well. Make it seem like, you know, Cena slowly becomes like a, you know, part of being, you know, babyface. Maybe he could have mentioned something about Hulk Hogan in the heelish promo, but then Cody Rhodes obviously interrupts him and all that. And you could even have, like, you know, kind of like when he was saying, oh, he wants the old John Cena, he wants the real John Cena, he presents him a Hulkamania shirt. Kind of like giving Cena back to, like, you know, someone like, you know, respecting legends type of deal. And this would have also been perfect to play in the end of the show, where in the main event, you could have had John Cena. Well, first off, why we're having all those 10 people in a big tag match? Because, like, you know, they're all feuding and to, like, settle some scores, like, you know, type of deal. What I would have done, obviously, is to continue, like, past stories. Like, you know, the possibilities of each person involved with each other would have been amazing. And it would definitely help, like, story sense and making people care about the freaking show. It would have been a massive, big tag match, especially in honor of Hulk Hogan. Like, in that match, there should be a big body slam. You never know. And, you know, it's also, like, you know, again, like guys like Hulk Hogan, like, you know, with Hulk Hogan's, like, the modern days of Hulk Hogan would have been John Cena, Roman Reigns, essentially. You know, have them clash in this match, essentially, and all that kind of stuff. There should definitely be, like, a big body slam in this match. And heck, John Cena, because he had, like, issues with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, there's dissension between them. John Cena, before leaving the match, because he doesn't care about this match, he basically, you know, FUs Bronson Reed, you know, showcase a strength type of deal, and then he leaves the match. But, like, while he had the match, I mean, like, basically, he should have had the Hogan shirt with him throughout the show. Having with the Hogan shirt throughout the show, like, alongside, like, how he has his towel, basically, you know, and then he just leaves with the Hogan shirt. And, like, the show ends, obviously, with the babyface winning. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton. Basically, Randy Orton maybe picking up the pin, you know, kind of just, you know, in honor of, like, Hogan, him being the last opponent. The show ends with, you know, maybe Real American and John Cena, like, while he's, like, you know, in the stage, contemplating what's going on, and, like, even, like, kind of dealing with Hulk Hogan's death. He probably, like, puts the shirt down, maybe place the title on top of it, kind of like a throwback Eddie Guerrero segment type of thing when Eddie died. That itself, I would have booked to be the biggest, like, matchup. That would have been a big way to end the freaking show. I think that would have been an amazing idea, you know, if they were able to do that. But unfortunately they didn't do it. But it would have been a great way. That would have honestly been a much more better way to end the show. That would be something great. What I also, you know, I would also have the legends, like, maybe, like, you know, Logan Paul tries to be involved in the match, but then the legends who were there to support Hogan, like Hacksaw, you know, Ted DiBiase, Jimmy Hart, they would probably, like, try to stop Logan Paul along with help of Jelly Roll even, you know what I mean? Just make it like a big, it should essentially be a big tribute match to Hulk Hogan and his legacy. It would have been, like, great to, like, you know, also have, like, you know, people dropping leg drops and all that kind of stuff. It just, you know, a little throwback to Hulkamania, throwback to, like, the Mega Powers and all that kind of stuff. It would have been freaking amazing. You know, throwback to even Andre and Hogan, you know, type of deal, right? I would have definitely have done, yeah, again, that segment with Cody would have been great with Cena in it. And not only that, other than those two big factors, the whole, like, tag title chaos thing where, leading to TLC match. That was fine. You could have had that instead, like maybe in the middle of the show while you're building towards, the big main event, the big somewhat blockbuster main event, which I would have called it. You know what I mean? That's how I would have booked the show. Everything else would have been fine. But again, I felt like they should also showcase bigger moments with Hogan. They really didn't showcase also a lot of video packages. They only showcased like him winning the WWE title at Madison Square Garden, and him also like basically facing Andre the Giant. They should have showcased definitely multiple moments like him in the NWO, him facing The Rock. The typical, and even his last title win against Triple H, even, you know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that. And his last match with Randy Orton right before the main event of My Idea. You could have still done the whole Jelly Roll segment with Randy Orton, but it would have led to the main event. You could have just easily cut out the whole, match with Chelsea Green and Jade Cargill and yeah, obviously the tag title chaos thing could have been perfect for a middle of the show type of deal. But yeah, that itself right there would have been a better way to book Hulk Hogan's tribute show. That's what I would have done. But unfortunately, WWE did not really do much. And I'm going to tell you, like, again, the reason why they didn't decide to do much because they simply did not really care much to really do much. That's the thing. They didn't want this unfortunate death to really overshadow the already plans they have, which was basically kind of lazy. If anything, if you think about it, a lot of it was a little lazy. Sure, they had legends coming out, but they didn't really do much with them. This should have been a perfect opportunity. Also, like throughout the show, you had maybe Ted DiBiase, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jimmy Hart, interviewed them a little bit, their thoughts of Hogan passing away. Would have been great. Obviously, Cena would being on the show could have showcased some heel stuff, but again, like have that moment with him and Cody, wanting the old John Cena, having that Hogan's, that itself makes the show, takes aspects of real life and make it to good storylines. Like that's what wrestling used to be, Because yes, sure, is it a little too personal to transport stuff into a storyline? Yeah, but that's professional wrestling for you. In the end of the day, I know WWE tried, but they didn't really try it enough. They just decided to do whatever because, it's unfortunately, they're kind of a little lazy. They're just, they honor him and they don't really care much to change the show. It would have been amazing if they really just, actually went all out to honor, they should have honored Hulk Hogan much more. He deserved it, And again, that idea would have helped. Like, why is it a problem to call up CM Punk? Why is it a problem to call up Roman Reigns? Heck, ask John Cena, hey, can you show up for, even with your holidays, Halloween, like, your busy schedule, like, why not? I mean, even if Cena wasn't there, like, I still think they could have done a bigger match. They could have even still, like, have done stuff without Cena if they couldn't really be there. But again, they have Roman Reigns. You can fly him out. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes is there. You should have done bigger stuff. Like, they should have done much more, I felt. Definitely should have honored Hulk Hogan much more. Especially, like, a match that would have honored Hogan's legacy. Like, they should have done something like that. Something, like, even similar to what happened when Bray Wyatt passed away. How they had Finn Balor versus LA Knight. They should have done essentially, stuff like that. Big matches. People who were involved with Hogan's career should have been on this show too. But in the end of the day, I understand like there was only like a few hours literally only like under 24 hours to plan the show. But at the end of the day, they should have planned a lot more. But regardless, I just wish they handled it better. But again, there's honestly not really much excuses because with Bray Wyatt when he died, there was only 24 hours as well when he passed away. It was only 24 hours. And they were able to do a wonderful tribute show, in all honesty. So I don't really think there's any excuses. So I don't understand why WWE really do much. So if anything, there's really no excuse because they were able to still think about it, able to do a great tribute show when Bray Wyatt passed. Same thing with Eddie. I believe when Eddie passed away, it was only like, a day or two, unfortunately, when he sadly passed away. So there's really no excuse, if anything. You're still sadly a show that goes on 24/7. No matter what, no days off. You should definitely try to always like do the best you can, even with real life situations. But you know what? At least they did something. At least they mentioned Hulk Hogan. It was great to see the fans enjoy, honored Hulk Hogan, whatever. But at the end of the day, I just wish they kind of like honored Hogan much more. So, other than that, that's how I would have booked the show. Yeah. So that was my booking. That's like how I would have booked Hulk Hogan's tribute show aspect of the show. Hope that helps.